back to my channel. Today I want to talk about prepping and prepping for things to come. Making sure that you have certain items in your stockpile that you may not be able to get in the future. So let's start with gloves. There are quite a few different types of gloves and they all have different uses. First you see Playtex gloves. They're just dishwashing gloves. You can use these to wash dishes. When you wear them, you can clean. You can work in the garden. They're very handy to have around. They're not very expensive. They're about $2 or $2.97 for one pair. You can get these in multiple packs, so it's like a multi-pack. Also, you'll see some neoprene heavy-duty long cuff gloves. Now, these have a micro cotton lining, so it absorbs a little moisture if your hands sweat. These are I would say they're pretty thick. These are extra large. Obviously they're not for me, but they're extra large. You can work in the yard with them if you want. You can mix paint, not with the gloves, but you can do different things with these gloves that require a thicker glove and also longer cuffs, so they'll come up near your elbow. You can mix fertilizer with these. Obviously wear a mask when you're doing that. You can spread diatomaceous earth and wear a mask when you use that. Also in the garden, we're going to have, and these are not new, but these are my garden gloves. These are leather, they're soft, and they have served me well through many years. I will be purchasing more of those because I want to make sure and have an extra pair on hand. And then we have basic garden gloves, and it's just a brown jersey glove. Now these are cloth, they're thin. I would say if you're going to just plant some things with soil and some pots, go ahead and you can use these. You can use your regular garden gloves, but I use these because they're easily washed. If they tear or whatever it might be, you can repair them, and they dry quickly because they're cotton. Well, let's move on to some other types of gloves that you may want to have in the garden, or you may want to just have around the house. This is a glove that you would use for medical use. You can use it in the garden. I use these to spread diatomaceous earth. It's just a surgical glove. If you have a necessity to have a medical glove, check with your doctor to make sure that you're getting the correct type for your use. In the future, these might be in short supply, all of these gloves. In the winter, it's great to have these little fuzzy gloves on hand. Now, these were 97 cents at the time that I purchased them. So I will be purchasing more. I know they have them on clearance. It's almost 100 degrees where I am, and no one really wants to wear little fuzzy gloves. But they will come in handy in the winter. They fit different size hands. They can stretch. They can actually be shrunk if you put them in the washer and then throw them in the dryer. They shrink a little bit. They have different sizes in the stores. And again, I think they're running about $1 or 97 cents. Sometime you can get them for as cheap as a quarter. They want them off the shelf. They don't want to deal with them. They want to bring all their summer items in. Another pair of gloves that I suggest having around, and I have a couple of these are driving gloves. They're part leather, but also They have a cloth back and they're padded. I use these during the winter to drive with in the car. Also, if you can use these gloves, if they're completely leather, you can use them if you ride horses. I used to ride horses, and I used leather gloves every single time I rode. So these are a few of the types of gloves that I am stockpiling just in case I can't get them in the future, or just in case they're so high I can't afford them. So leather gloves, gardening gloves, latex gloves, rubber gloves, kitchen gloves, cold weather gloves. Whatever gloves that you can get your hands on, you definitely want to have a variety of gloves in your stockpile. If an economic challenge comes about, it is very good to have these gloves on hand, and more than one pair of each. I always say it's better safe than sorry. It's better to have something and not need it than need it and not have it. I try to keep at least 2 pairs of each of these gloves in my home. Different sizes of each type. So I may wear a small or a medium. Someone else in my household might wear a large or an extra large. So I try to keep 2 extra large, 2 large, maybe 2 medium, 2 small. It just all depends on your family and if you have growing children. That way, they will grow into the gloves that you have stockpiled. You can use these gloves every day in a different manner, but my suggestion is always have a backup. Remember, 1 is none, 2 is 1. So if one pair of your gloves were to fail, totally fail, and you did not have a backup, you would have none. You would have no gloves. Some can be repaired, as I said. Some of these gloves can be sewn and repaired. The Playtex dish gloves, not unless you tape them with some type of adhesive, and it might work or it might not. Again, check your stores. See what gloves are out there. See what gloves that your family uses. And make sure and stock up for a time where there may not be these specific gloves in the store. If you find a sale or a clearance, stock up. Even if you have these little fuzzy gloves and you have 10 pair, you might know a neighbor, you might know a friend or a relative, and they didn't stock up on these little gloves, and they have children. It's also a great thing to put together in your bug out bag. Not every pair of gloves, but just one good pair of gloves and a backup. You can't pack everything in there, so try to be very selective in what you do pack in there. In the comments below, let me know what gloves you store, and if you found any other gloves that I have not featured in this video, please let me know so we can share with all the viewers. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. And also, I want to thank my subscribers, future, present. And in the upcoming videos, I'll be going over different things that you need to stockpile, or that I may suggest you stockpile and have backups to. They always say backups to backups to backups. You just, at this point, in my opinion, cannot have enough backups. You would not want to go to the store, again, as I said, and not be able to find the items that you need. Well, this is just a video on gloves and the different types, the uses. I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope to see you soon.